I want to quickly go over my strengths as well as my weaknesses when I look at the counselor dispositions. So to start with my strengths, I'm going to say that my first strength is cultural diversity. And that is not only because I have a heart that's open to others, but simply my upbringing, my whole educational, from my background as a child all the way up through my working environment has been very inclusive of others. So that is definitely a strength that I have. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, urban area, all black public schools from kindergarten through sixth grade, but then I went to University of Detroit Jesuit High School, which was a mixture of different ethnicities, majority white. Then when I went to college, I went to Tennessee State University, which is a historically black college. And then in my teaching career, when it began in 1982, I returned to Detroit and taught in the public schools, which was majority black folk, for 25 plus years. And then since then, I've done another 7 years in Alpharetta, Georgia, where I have taught students of Hispanic, Indian descent, white, Asian, you name it, immigrants who have come in from parts of Europe, you name it, I've taught them. So number one, cultural diversity. Let me move fast. Genuineness. The ability to make connections with others is just a gift that I have. Probably because of having this longing for family and this longing for friendships, and it's just something that I'm able to do very easily, is to be genuine, to be myself, and to put myself before others. The third disposition that I would say is my strength is psychological fitness. My life has been filled with plenty of trials personally, from when I was young, having my family broken up, separated through divorce at a very young age. Although my folks did get to get back together 10 years and have been together ever since, there's a trauma that sits there. But I've also been through other types of traumas in my life. In fact, just recently in, March of 2022, I discovered that I had the classic Hodgkin's lymphoma, in which I had to endure and go through a brutal process that entailed chemotherapy, radiation, very, very difficult process. But the point is, through all the different things I've been through in my life, I do have a message in my heart, and I do have a word for others. I have an authenticity that comes out through that and through an empathetic heart. So those would be my three strengths, really quick to recap: cultural diversity, genuineness, and psychological fitness. Now let's talk about weaknesses real quick. I would say the first one would be professional identity. Professional identity. And the reason is I think that's very difficult for any and all people. Why? Because when you're taking on an identity, it means that you're taking on standards, you're taking on a role, you're taking on a character that probably is not yours naturally, that you have to grow into. The question becomes, can you submit your will? Can you submit yourself to external realities that are not necessarily your original ideas? So for example, when we look at the Bible and we see that Adam started from the very beginning, God had an identity for him and gave him that identity through his instructions. Adam wasn't able to fulfill that. And there you have it. It goes from Adam all the way through the Bible, where you see this righteousness versus rebelliousness. And then when you get to Paul, he makes the statement talking about an identity, right? Let this mind be in you, the same that was in Christ Jesus. So human beings have always had a struggle with taking on an identity. So I would say that's something I will continue to work on, continue to work with. Real quick, let me jump to my last. Amiability. I think that I have a genuine friendliness towards others, and I don't think that's an issue. But when I read the definition closely, it states that you have unconditional positive regard, even when someone has differing views. Now, I would agree that I'm very good that if you have a differing view, I don't have to show you. But that doesn't mean in my heart, that doesn't mean in my mind that and when I'm in opposition to you, that I know already that I can necessarily give you the same quality of service, especially depending on what that view might be. So I'll put that down as a weakness and something I think that I can continue to work on and build on. And when we transition to the last statement as it relates to how do I plan ethically and legally to continue to grow my weakness of professional identity, I would say that staying informed, continue to do research, continuing to foster and build a networking group of colleagues and others who I can continue to go back and forth in terms of information and sharing current trends and things that are going on in the field, etc. Along with community interest. And so quickly, I will wrap this up by saying thank you so much for this opportunity. And that is my video, which I'm sorry I went over, on my strengths, weaknesses, and my plan going forward on improvement. Thank you.